Let's get into some of the fun stuff. Why some of those grim earlier numbers? Well, first and foremost, lack of foresight. How many trends do we have every 2 to 3 years? Web 3.0, metaverse, blockchain, big data. Like there's just a new term that constantly comes up every 2 to 3 years. We jump on the bandwagon and then we go to the next big buzzword that hits us every 2 to 3 years. This one, unfortunately, is not a buzzword. It is here to stay. Second, organizational inertia. This has always been my favorite. Sometimes when I've gone through my interview process, I hear about amazing words like innovative, competitive advantage, we want to be cutting edge, and that's the aspiration. Sometimes I get hired and I give them the team, the budget, and what it takes to actually match those buzzwords, and we fall short. The perspiration doesn't always match the inspiration. And so that delta, fundamentally, we just don't always get the resources that we need to be able to develop these capabilities in the timeline that they're requesting. Third, with AI, is there is an element of resistance. And we'll get into this in a few slides later, but we are going to market saying that AI is going to replace jobs. AI is going to displace jobs. With all due respect, why would any knowledge worker use AI? Why would you use a tool that's going to replace you? Like, we just don't see enough enterprises and organizations, and this is something I'm trying to change in investing in workforce preparation, to use AI as an enabler, as an enhancer, as an amplifier, not as a displacer. And so there is this back and forth. There is a little bit of resistance that's happening right now that is causing the low adoption rates. But the other big thing is the pace of change is fast. And this is where I'm going to ask. How many of you guys belong to companies that have 5 strategic priorities designated by the CEO and the executive leadership team? 5. Okay, 6 strategic priorities. Show of hands. 7 strategic priorities. We have more of those. 8. Okay. Show of hands of which of those strategic priorities was dropped to make room for AI. I don't see anyone. That's right. This is moving so fast, we've tacked it on to an already busy schedule, an already busy agenda, with a lot of strategic initiatives focused around growing the business in very healthy ways. And because the pace is so fast, everyone is trying to catch up. But what happens when you prioritize speed over substance? We miss a few things. We forget to train the people that matter the most. We forget our workforce preparation. We think it's just plug in a tool and let's get going. And that's where some of the mindset shifts have to change. The other aspect of it is the A in artificial intelligence is very deceiving. It is not, I would say, there are some aspects of it that are remarkable, so it seems artificial, but the real deployments are focused on augmented, automated, and anticipatory. Let's automate the manual, let's augment a knowledge worker, and let's create predictive models. There's a 4th one coming in, like autonomous vehicles, agentic AI, but that hasn't hit critical mass just yet. The first 3 are where the center of gravity really is. There's also unrealistic expectations. When Watson went to market and beat Ken Jennings, it beat Ken Jennings with the 71% accuracy scores. How many of us would be celebrating that score if our kid came home from school and said, I got a C- on my test? We wouldn't. But that's how much smarter it was than a human, and it beat Ken Jennings. Then, in 2023, I was toying around. Our models could not tell the difference between a Chihuahua and a blueberry muffins. It can now. I typed in salmon and water. We clearly know the reference is a fish, not a fillet. We're getting better. Oh, my favorite, eggplant. Yeah. Now with context, all 3 of these have been solved, but there's other issues that we still got to work through. With all that said, no matter what you do or how you deploy artificial intelligence, depending on the use case, you all have to establish an acceptability threshold. What is good enough? It's not going to be 100%, but is it going to be better than what you have right now? And what is that level? So when you go through and deploy this, if it exceeds that level, you're golden. Okay, the next one. The workforce and not tech is the biggest blocker. We spend all of our time on picking models and very little time in our workforce preparation.